Hi everyone, welcome to Lesson 2 in our GS 120 class. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and ready to go again. Today I'm going to do a little more kind of in-depth. This is a more traditional week, and so I'm hoping that after this week you'll really have a feel for how the lessons are going to flow. So I'll kind of try to take you through step by step the lesson this week, kind of explain how things work, and then, like I said, it should become a lot more familiar as you go. So to start off today, we're going to go up here to Content, and we're going to choose everything in our Lesson 2 folder. So we got right here in Lesson 2. First off, just a reminder, questions, conversations, that's always there to post questions that you have about the lesson, about the class, that are maybe applicable to everybody. That's a great place for a lot of people get the same answer. If it's more a personal question like a grade or something like that, just feel free to email me. So first thing we're going to do here as we come down is Welcome to Pathway. And what this does, so there's kind of a few main areas you're going to be focusing on today, or this week. The first one is Pathway, kind of understanding the purpose of Pathway. But really the things you're going to focus on is the BYU Idaho Learning Model and the BYU Idaho Honor Code. Those are some of the main things. And it's kind of nice in this one as well. It gives you everything you're going to do this week. So, as you can look through here, so first is lesson material and quiz, and this is the same exact pattern it's going to follow every single week. So you do that before the gathering, you do your initial post on discussion board, prepare everything that they ask you to do for the gathering, attend it, mark your attendance, respond to the discussion board, and do your application activity. There's kind of three things: application activity, teach a friend, learning report. Try to go more specifically into each of these, so you kind of understand what's expected in these. So first off is the lesson material and quiz. So you can always just get used to the pattern. This is the material, this is the quiz that comes after it. So if we click on the material, it's laid out pretty nice. It just takes you kind of item by item, link by link. It's going to talk to you about the learning model that BYU Idaho uses. It's got a lot of videos, which I personally like, to help kind of explain that as you go through here. So it says step 1, step 2, step 3. So do each of these things that it asks. And then it's going to start to talk about the BYU Idaho Honor Code, which is really important to remember. And it's got videos and text as well you need to go through. And then it's going to talk about, specifically academic honesty. This is huge. This is a problem that we often see, is students misunderstanding what is plagiarism, what is cheating, what's okay. So please pay attention to the material as you go through this, so we can just avoid any problems this semester. And then finally, learning more just a little bit about BYU Idaho dress and grooming standards, campus attire. Many students will end up coming to campus, and so that's just help preparing. And then next is you're going to have the quiz. So make sure you've already read all the material, watched all the videos, feel good about it before you do the quiz. And by the way, just like these arrows, take you right to the next item you need to do. And so it'll take you here to the quiz, give you a few instructions about it, and then you just get this button, start your quiz. Do the best you can. It's okay if you miss a question or two. Don't worry too much about it. Just do your best to be prepared before you go. You can take it twice, and you'll see right here, it'll let you know. So if you don't like your score the first time, you can take it a second time, just to make sure that the goal is once again you learn the material, not that you always get a perfect score. So next up is your first discussion board. So I hope last week was kind of an example. So you should post your initial post by Wednesday. So that's considered midweek due date. So it'll give you a prompt here, talk to you about the general lesson material, and give you several questions you can choose from, and then you respond to one of those. Step 2, as you do this, notice the example here. When I grade these, I'm going to be really looking for depth of thought. If you just do a really simple one-sentence answer, you're not going to get a lot of credit for it. You can read this paragraph, which is really well developed, and so you want to post your initial thoughts by Wednesday as you go. It mentions spelling and grammar. This should be professional, so make sure you're checking spell check and everything else coming across. You can see how discussion boards are going to be graded. We talk kind of about the showing comprehension of the material, written in a professional way, and grammar and word choice and everything are good. So it tells you exactly the way I'm going to grade it, and so just review that before you get going. once you've kind of done your initial post, you'll then have, then you actually, those are the instructions. This is the actual. And so what's different this week is that you have groups. So you'll just see your group, whichever group you've been assigned. And there's about, I think, 5 for everybody in the class. So you'll be with a group of about, I think, 10 people. And so it's a nice atmosphere where there's not so many people and so many posts to read, and you can kind of get to know your group members better. So you'll just click on this and then do your initial post. And then your group members will be able to read it. Once again, start a new thread, do your post, group members will read it, and then you can keep going. So that's how that will work. So let's go back here. Give you what else you're going to do this week. Sorry, I need to jump back to content. Alright, so come down the list. We're now on to the gathering. So anything you need to do, all your instructions and everything are right here. And then after, make sure you fill out your attendance report, just so you're able to acknowledge you were there and get the credit for it. And then don't forget about post-gathering. So there's actually kind of 3 assignments that are post-gathering. First one is your application activity. And so this will just ask you, usually it's a written document that you'll write in Word and then upload to submit for a grade. So it's just going to explain several different things it wants you to do. This week it's focusing on setting some goals for yourself to apply the learning model. And as well as you can see down here, it gives you exactly what to write in your paper. They usually tell you how long it needs to be. Just read through the directions. It's usually pretty clear. So once you've written it, you write it in Word, and then you come to the next screen. And when you do that, you'll then have a submission area and upload. And that's where you'll just find your document, upload it, and it'll be ready for me to review and grade. The next activity you're going to do is, I think, one of the best ones in the class. It's called Teach a Friend. And Teach a Friend, it's fun because you get to go think about everything you've learned that week. Think about what maybe was most meaningful to you, maybe 1 or 2 principles that you learned, and then you're going to teach it to someone. Someone who's not enrolled in the class, family member, a coworker, a friend, someone who's not in our course or another section of GS 120, and teach them what you've learned that week. Then, so you see step 2, you're going to once again, in a Word document, write about it, and you're going to have at least 1 well-written paragraph about the experience, who you taught, what you taught them, everything about that, and then 2, the second paragraph you write about what you learned from this. So as you taught, what additional insights did you get, what do you think about the experience, and I really like to give you some good examples down here. So poor paragraph, okay, and a really good paragraph that you'd write about it. So just follow those examples and you'll do great. That's when I always enjoy reading, because I also see what you're learning at the same time. Okay, and then once again, you'll come here to upload, choose that Word document that you wrote, and it will be submitted for grading. After you've done that, once again, I promise after this week, these will not be this long. Just a quick note about applying the learning model. So not a lot, it's mostly just reading that over. And then last one is just your learning report. So this is just kind of the end of the week. It's called a quiz, but it's more just a report of how you can, what you learned this week, just insights you had. It's just the last thing you do. Make sure you've done everything else in the lesson before you come here to do your final quiz on this one. So I hope that makes sense. That's everything that's required for this week. Please post questions in the question area. Email me if there's anything that's unclear. After you do it this week, I promise it's going to be so clear, and you're going to do the same thing every single week. Just the content will change, but the structure doesn't. So thank you so much for all you're doing. Thanks for listening to a really long video if you've made it this far. And yeah, we'll be in touch this week.